right. Welcome everyone to the June edition of Well Read at Work San Jose, co-sponsored by Work San Jose. We have Joe Miller, president of Work San Jose, and he is going to give us some information about what's going on over there at Works. Hi, Joe.
Hey, good to see you guys, and nice crowd, and I see some very special guests out there as well. Cool to see you guys. This has been a busy time at Works. We've just finished up this exhibition, which was, as you see there, Resurgence, which was 50 plus young animators from San Jose State in this exhibition, and was up for a month, so you missed it, it's gone now. But we will be opening a new exhibition of planter box artists from our planter box project of mini murals, 18 artists down the side of the San Jose Convention Center there, painting murals on planter boxes. So that will open up with those artists inside Works at August 1st Friday. And you can also find us out at the street fair, August 1st Friday, August, September, October. During that time, somewhere we'll be moving to this space. There's me and some of our board members, Amy Beans, Maggie So, and Lauren Dunning. They're visiting the space recently, and you can get like a little bit of a sense of the scale of it. It's a little bit larger and much taller than the current Works. So you can't just like kind of jump up and be able to touch the lights at this space. That won't work. But that's going to be ready for some sort of move-in in August. We're not sure of dates. There's been delays, of course, because of materials not coming in or some sort of technical problem here and there. It's this massive center that's going to be called Open San Jose, and we're going to be there. There's going to be another visual art space with Chopsticks Alley Art in a little bit smaller gallery. And then there's going to be all sorts of exciting things like the Silicon Valley African Film Festival is going to be there. Their offices, as well as we hope, of course, their programming. San Jose Spotlight, the entire space is with Create TV, but about 6 or so key organizations that are all nonprofits working together in the space. So watch for updates about Open San Jose, and Work San Jose is going to be part of that. We're still going to be us. We're not handing it over to anybody. All of the organizations there are going to be independent, but now related in a really special way. We do have some programming also coming up at Mexican Heritage Plaza. Just as we did last year, we're going to be working with Mosaic America. So come see us at the Mosaic Festival. So watch for the Mosaic Festival in August as well. So July and August, we'll have an exhibition out there at the Mexican Heritage Plaza with the School of Arts and Culture and Mosaic, and then going into the fall with the School of Arts and Culture. Watch for all of the festivals out there. We should have an exhibition up with each of them, like Chile Mole Pozole, all the way up to Avenida de Altares, which is going to be a great festival all the way down Alum Rock Ave with tons of altars and culminating in an exhibition there at the plaza by us at Works. And so if you're a visual artist, of course, follow us on Facebook, Instagram, all that kind of stuff. And if you know visual artists, then we'll be looking to fill this out with San Jose and related surrounding areas of local art for both that and upcoming things at the new site. So thanks for coming out, and I'm going to hand it right back over to Rob, who's up there for me. He's probably somewhere else for you, but there he is right there.
This is me. Thank you, Joe. And thank you for those updates from Works San Jose, and welcome everyone to tonight's evening featuring Cassandra Bousquet, Aileen Cassinetto, and Kekelene Ward. First, let's have a land acknowledgement. We acknowledge that the city of San Jose is made up of the unceded territory of the Muwekma Ohlone tribe, who traced their ancestry through the local mission system. We remember and acknowledge that this land was taken through violence and dishonesty. We remember the connection the Ohlone people have to this region and give thanks for the opportunity to continue to live, work, learn, and pray on their traditional homeland. Let us now take a moment of silence to pay respect to their elders and to all Ohlone people of the past and present. Thank you. Now for some words about our support. Poetry Center San Jose is a member-supported organization and is funded in part by grants from Applied Materials Foundation, the City of San Jose's Office of Cultural Affairs, Knight Foundation, Poets and Writers, Silicon Valley Community Foundation, SV Creates in partnership with the County of Santa Clara and the California Arts Council, and generous giving from Ann and Mark's Art Party, Brandenburg Family Foundation, and you, our members. Now, please submit, just a reminder, a quick survey about the event to help us improve our logistics and content and report to our funders and sponsors. I'll send the link for the well-read survey in the chat a little bit later during the program. Upcoming events, third Thursday at Willow Glen Library, June 16th, 7 p.m., featuring Barbara Saxton, and Poetry Exchange, Sunday, June 19th, 1 p.m. We also have Bashar, Saturday, June 25th, 9:30 a.m., and Beautiful Black Books, Saturday, June 25th, 11 a.m., featuring David Judah Olivier, otherwise known as Judah One, in conversation with Santa Clara County Poet Laureate Shaka Campbell. Also, Shaka Campbell is now accepting poems from youth poets K through 12 for the anthology In Your Words. In this, submit up to 2 poems sharing your feelings and emotions over the last 3 years, what you have seen, how have you been able to cope, or any other topic you wish to discuss that has stemmed from being part of this new world we live in. There will be more information here, a link as to how to submit, and we'd love to have you share this information with the young poets in your communities. Séjour is still accepting submissions. This is for 2022 issue. The extended deadline is tomorrow, June 15th. This is for PCSJ members. To join and for submission guidelines, visit pcsj.org. And we also have the Red Wheelbarrow Poetry Prize, accepting submissions. Final judge is U.S. Poet Laureate Emeritus Juan Felipe Herrera. And the prizes, $1,500, $250, top 5, published in Red Wheelbarrow Literary Magazine. And the first prize receives a letterpress broadside of their poem, limited edition, and there will be a link how to submit in the chat. And we'd love you to also help spread the word about Santa Clara County Youth Poet Laureate Emerita Anouk Ye's program, Writing Toward Justice, a poetry anthology featuring the work of incarcerated young people. Submission guidelines and form also to be shared in the chat. Now, for tonight's program, I'm going to introduce our guests, and in the order that they will appear. Cassandra Busquet is 18 years old. She enjoys knitting, reading, spending time in nature, and participating in theater and chorus. She has been writing all her life and hopes to be a successful author in the future. Cassandra is a recent graduate of the Youth Climate Ambassador Program put on by San Mateo County's Office of Sustainability, San Mateo County Office of Education, Citizens Environmental Council of Burlingame, and Peninsula Clean Energy. She is continuing her climate activism through her Instagram at United Against Climate Change. She will be followed by Kekelene Ward, a spoken word poet and former student at Ravenswood Middle School. She writes about her history and heritage, her community, and her hopes as a young woman of color. Her work was featured by the Ravenswood Education Foundation as part of their Giving Tuesday campaign. Her poem Mirroring Sea, about sea level rise and its impact on East Palo Alto, is featured in the San Mateo County Youth Eco-Poetry Project. And they will be followed finally by Eileen Cassinetto. She is an Academy of American Poets Laureate Fellow and the Poet Laureate of San Mateo County. Her work has appeared in Poetry Magazine, Marsh Hawk Press Review, Fellowship Magazine, and Moria, among others. She received a special congressional recognition in 2021 and was appointed by the Board of Supervisors to serve as commissioner for the Commission on the Status of Women through 2025. She is a 2022 Metro Film and Arts Foundation grantee. Would you now please give a warm welcome here to Cassandra Bousquet.
Hello, everybody. Can everyone hear me okay? All the internet stuff is working well? Good. Okay, so I'm going to read my poems on identity first, and they're mainly about my identity as an artist and also just existing in this world. So my first poem is called An Artist. I have red hair like my mother. My mother always told me we were magic. And I think there is a part of me that is burning. But it may not be my hair, it may just be the artist in me. The light that radiates from my being, the madness that so many don't see, the urge to write and write and write until my wrists don't work, the ability to fight and fight and fight until I get what I need, whatever I can do to help the earth, which is the best I can do for humanity. I can talk with my eyes and I can talk with my hands. I've been thinking about artists and the ones who don't understand. I've been thinking about Van Gogh and Millet and Tchaikovsky, about the beauty of their minds and the tortured colors of their lives. In my room hangs a poster of Vincent, and through him I think I see. I come from lupin and buckeye, cherry plum and blackberry, nasturtium, jasmine, poison oak, and rosemary. I come from a broken white bench in a dusty wild mountain. I come from good friends and an overflowing water fountain. I have always been me, and I've always known it truly, how to have a tea party and pet flowers and find the joy. Sometimes the truth is hidden. Sometimes the veil of dusk hangs too thick. Sometimes the clouds fold into each other and I find myself enmeshed in gray. And so I turn to paper and pen until the sun shines again, until the springtime sings sweetly its farewell to cold decay. I have always been writing. It is like breathing, so I must. I have always been humming, skipping this way and that. I've been wondering lately about what a human means, about being and singing and regrowing wings. I have stardust in my veins or in my blood, just somewhere in there. I learned that long ago and have never forgotten that fact. When I think of who I am, I say my name. It seems to describe me well enough. But I feel something lacking, some scent my soul is slowly sipping, some melody of delicate strength that is not ready to be heard yet. When I love, I am everything. When I fear, I am nothing. When I am angry, I am boiling. When I am sorry, I am melting. I am passion and pain and gold-dusted feathers. You must see me to sense me. You must read me to hear me. You must feel me to know the real me. I am wild and wonderful and very unwise. I have a tangible soul I can pull out through my eyes. I am the sun and the rain and every kind of weather. I am everything to love and everything to despise. I hug the trees and lie in the dirt. I say this is where I came from and thank the earth for giving me life. I worry I am not worthy of it and then remember that the leaves don't care. The moss doesn't even wonder why it is there. It simply exists with the life force of love. I simply exist as another thread of the tapestry. And I weave golden and tightly and connect with the others who don't know. I try to spread light and become part of the flow, even if I don't always know where to go. I have red hair like my mother. I stand tall on the mountaintop and gleam in the sun. I know who I am and I know where I came from. And I know I am an artist, lupin and buckeye, stardust in my veins. My next poem is called My Poetry. Poetry is power, I have come to realize. It has opened my eyes, opened my soul, cracked it open upon the table. I'm sharing a meal with you all. A meal of red hair and strong bones with a sweet, soft soul seasoned with shadows. It can be painful, but ultimately I believe there is a beauty to bleeding in community. There is a beauty to healing in unity. If I can help somebody by letting them sip my soul with eyes I can't see, it can be frightening. But ultimately, I believe it is a necessity for this wild garden of poison plants and remedies to be shared with honesty. Do I dare with sunlit lunacy? Can't blame my madness on the moon. I'm not crazy or doomed. It's simply my humanity. Yes, I dare because I care. And if my poetry is a mirror or vessel or a bunch of wacky words that don't make sense to you, I may be happy or sorry, but ultimately, your reaction won't change how I do what I do, because although I truly want my readers to be free, the fact is quite shamelessly, I write poetry for me. Small and in space. I'm an infinitesimal cell seated inside a magnificent body poised dramatically in the expansive theater of space. I am brimming with virtue and grace, and also blood and missed cues and depressing news. And I've heard tell of tragedies in the streets of Verona. I've stepped out of the light, I've mumbled into my mic, words which sometimes seem to be thrown away. I've died on stage and I've died inside, and the tears were real when I cried. I don't seem to belong to an age. The green room was never green enough. The house curtain was faded and rough. Outside my window, workers continuously construct a new set for society. I didn't know my mountain could just be painted over like that. There are whirrings and whizzings in space and a whole lot of worrying. It can feel like there isn't any winning. There are magnetic and chemical and electrostatic connections. There are arbitrary rules and unclear directions. There are stars that stopped burning a long time ago. There is chaos and destruction and rebirth and flow. There is music and movement and memory and time. There's reward and goodness and punishment and crime. There's heartbeat and soul song and rhythm and bated breath. There is combustion and creation, and there is birth and there is death. There is silence and applause. There is a presence and a pause. There is love and there is peace, a kind letter with a crease. And out of the way is me. I am small and in space, I be. The poets and me. I envy the poets who spent their idle days in forests of peaceful anxiety, with nothing to do but think, have broken minds broken by time. It was easy for them to be in touch. They had not so much, never so much. Some joined and left the priesthood, yes, and I'm sure that's hard too, to spar with God, to wonder what is true, to wonder only why and never how. To spend a millennium gazing at one's own reflection, to spend another day repairing the buttons on one's coat, to walk to a pond and then halfway there, wonder if perhaps you should have gone a different way, wonder if perhaps the way itself is rude and unfair. Ah, yes, the poets who could afford to spend a year critiquing the society they were not a part of, analyzing the world they were hiding from, railing against nature itself when nature sheltered them. Perhaps I am just as bad. Oh me, oh life, across this barren wasteland, tomorrow and tomorrow and tomorrow this petty pace creeps from day to day. I took the road less traveled by. And why, and why, and why? But how? How does one make such a life? Artists, we defy expectations. We put leaves in our hair. We don't seem all there, but we exist so much more dimensionally than the paper doll people who only breathe the tree and nothing more. We crown ourselves in thorns and moan. When we fall, and we bury ourselves. We always want more. Sometimes I think I cannot live with my thoughts. The poets thought the same, crackpots, all of them. Of course, not all poets were the same, and I speak of them as if they're dead, as if we are a dying race who don't deserve to take up space. But those white men of privilege, they found ample time to sit in the woods and count the minutes, and I find myself jealous of so much time. I find myself wondering that if perhaps it were another century, could I wander lonely as a cloud? Or would I be a red-faced cook preparing a meal for the aristocracy? Would I be hushing up a scandal or making leather sandals? Does the problem lie in society or in me? I took a walk in the woods and came out taller than the trees. 'Tis true, 'tis wise, 'tis good. Yes, the transcendentalists had something to say. They were more alive than I am. They successfully banished the gray. Did they ever have any? They must have. I think it comes with the job. Oily sludge, serpentine syrup, music of perpetual decay. I have made enemies with entropy, but some days I choose to acknowledge the concept, like an arrogant nation with reluctant diplomacy. Yes, you may have a flag on my little planet today, but only for today. Gray has a potency sometimes. It is just like shadow, like mist of mockery and gloom. But other times it is thick like a paint, like glue and jam and paste, acrylic stuck in the tube for however many years, splintering, cracking, but stubbornly not dried out. A serendipitous mystery, a resolute attempt to be. Even so, so it goes. Why me? Yes, I envy the poets, and yet do I really? Crumpled pieces of paper, tea-stained, perhaps lost, their haunting lines of mortality, when I still live. I live now and they would say rejoice. Well, some perhaps, others would bitterly long for death. Others would say life is too harsh, too cold. Still others would encourage me to be more loose, more bold. Some would envy me my prime and say enjoy it before you grow old. So perhaps I shall. Perhaps in all probability, I am in the woods enough for the world, and the trees recognize me. And does this mean then that I'm doing it right? Let me cry, where does the time go? And what is beyond the sky? Yes, I think I am. It certainly appears to be the case. Let me wonder, want in wandering. Let me attempt to find the grace. Yes, I think that is what the poets do. Essence of fire. I am raging fire flaming, tidal waves a-breaking, baby birds awakening as the light turns on. I am hot blood river rushing, a schoolgirl's whispered gushing, as the night conceals my blushing and the baby birds sing dawn. I am cold and dark and dangerous, enchanted like the night. I am ancient molded metal, my teeth and bones gleam white. My finest threads are snapping, my thirsty soul is lapping up the precious perfume that sweetens every song. My very essence melting, soft and grotesque blending, preparing for a sending off of what is now called gone. And yet the ash has feathers, and the smoke a gorgeous plume. I will rise red and burning, and my resurrection will be soon. Me. I am ethereal and intangible, a long-forgotten fairy tale, a burning, bleeding, moaning candle, sweetly sipping the dew-drenched grasses I travel. My depths are painted darkness, I spin my meaning into thread. My gushing soul now hearkens to the living and the dead. The earth and I are one. The errant air invades my eyes. I am at once relieved and stunned and throw off all remnants of disguise. So yes, I will traverse the town with book and hat in hand. Perhaps indeed I look a clown to those who do not understand. To those who do not commune with the moon or know intimately the leaves' fine veins. To those who forget we are gone too soon and misinterpret the melody of the insane. I am incandescent and impermeable. I can only be held by the weather. I am a treasure trove of trouble. I rise like ash and fall like feather. I still wish upon a dandelion and find faces in the clouds. I just want to be at peace and to make my parents proud. I want to be a blooming flower stretching out her sleepy arms. I want to cry to the world, I am enamored of its charms. I want to fly to a place of colored thought and shimmering sea. I want to lie with gentle grace in a space where I am me. I want to die in a place where I have learned at last to be. The fire deep within me. There's a fire deep within me. It burns hot and orange red. The sparks are braided tightly and they twist around my head. My mind is clear and cool like a misty, musty day. But the fire deep within me, it reminds me how to pray. It tells me blood is water. It whispers truth and hope. It charges me with power and shows me how to cope. It unveils the light of life and takes the curtain from the window. It gives new meaning to the knife and a different morning to the shadow. The fire deep within me is flowers flaming from stardust. It is full of direction like the wind, but not aimless in its gust. Sometimes my soul feels overwhelmed, but now at last I've learned that the fire deep within me can light, but not be burned. Clarity. I am not afraid, I am heavy with the weight of myself, I am floating and sleeping, the covers are warm, I move backwards in time towards the person I was, but in a wiser form, I am brilliant, the sky is an endless mirror above my roof reflecting the night unto me, I have been weary, winter was hard, I stayed inside, the mountain was full of fog, I don't drink because I know I would never stop, besides I am intoxicated on the wine of the wisdom of the world of which I know so little, I am happy with myself because I have been learning to understand the people who are hurting and feel at peace about their actions in my heart. I know they are attempting to control the only thing they can, such as yelling at little children. I am Zen. These poor fools only searching for a reason to exist, smoking up a storm to cover the pain, sitting in a circle of bad air, they care the most. Their hurting habit of hurting, why, when I'm sleep deprived, do I write with the utmost clarity sometimes? Like a monk who was drunk, he has sinned, but saved the world through his vision. He saw the answer when he was inebriated. I am not inebriated. I simply love myself. And my next poem is called Coastline Oak Tree. And it's sort of a transition from soul talk, if you will, into my eco-poetry. A coastline oak tree can live over 250 years, 170 years more than my grandmother, 130 more years than a box turtle. A coastline oak tree is found along the coast, and when it is dying, it releases acorns to grow a baby tree, to leave a piece of it behind in this brief circular sea. I believe that soul is beyond color, as love is beyond music. Soul shimmer and shine and sparkle and tremble, glitter and light and darken to shades our eyes cannot comprehend, and yet our minds can see, as love is arguably a kind of spiritual melody, forever stuck in our hearts even after the beating has ceased. The air continues to breathe, the notes more real than humanity and more invisible than insanity, the pulse, the blink, the beat. I believe that trees have souls and whisper to their children, laments and plaintive cries and sugar-coated threats to humans so unwise in denial of their debts. One day the little bird that flies will be without a nest. 250 years from now, this strong coastline oak will be a withered bough, no longer living, no longer giving, though still humming I know not how. Feathered angel full of bark, illuminating the soil, it is you who keeps me from the dark, you are good and I am loyal. You have no shell, you have no bones, I have no flesh, but we both have soul, and we both are very, very old. So old that I remember nothing that is not new, nothing but I thought I knew. It is the beginning, and so it is for you too. Oceans rising. Oceans rising, temperatures reaching, record highs, climate lies are so ingrained in our consciousness we aren't surprised when people say there is nothing we can do. We don't believe them, but we're not shocked when they don't believe. We just groan and weep our salt tears into a river of rage, heating up our bodies, becoming plastic. It's no wonder the acidity of politics is breaking down into microaggressions, polluting our world. Oceans rising, creatures dying, heads trapped in plastic bags, icebergs melting. We've seen the pictures since we were children. It's not surprising more aren't climbing off the escalator to hell. They say the current is too strong, but they don't reach out their hand to feel it to see if that's true. Oceans rising, islands sinking, villagers burning trash and dying from toxic fumes. It's not talked about enough. Not nice to think about, will make you lose your appetite, but children are hungry in other countries and even our own, but we don't see it. Our culture looks for muscle, not for bone. Oceans rising, heating, bleeding, how sick she must feel. Some look to space for a way out, but we're too far in, too deep in chaos, flailing, failing to back out now. Oceans rising, how much more time have we? For greedy old men to stop being so obsessed with pretty pieces of paper that they turn our world into plastic, cheap perfume with dust and chemicals tearing costly holes in the fabric of our atmosphere, pretending they can't hear the desperate screams of our mother and of her children. The woman and the ocean. The ocean came and swept away all of the memories that lay on the sand, all of the jealousies and contraband. Into her depths these frightful follies flew, unleashing sorrow and toxins too. The man who gave his wife a plastic ring was swept to his death by the ocean's wing. The wife she cried, and life she tried to live in simple elegance, but every time she came to the shore to mourn the wasteful days of yore, she was surrounded by plastic remnants, skeletal fragments of a life. One day she sat and looked at the sky, reflecting that she, not plastic, was made to die. She stared at her finger, bony and bare, and recollected the ring that once had been there. cheaper than diamonds, but oh so costly, for it had wreaked havoc when tossed by the sea. Plumes of spray misted her face, blessing her with awareness and grace. The waves kept crashing as a bird keeps flapping, fighting for the right to fly, crying to reverse goodbye. The other people on the beach, they closed their eyes, they did not speak. As the woman flew into the breach, they were blind to their mistake. And they did not understand, those people on the sand, what the woman was trying to teach. They bought their partners plastic rings, married themselves to the toxic king, debeautified the beach and consumed without thinking. Some of them recognized what they were doing, but they did not try to stop the shameful undoing. They said it was an inevitable thing. The woman whose body became part of the spirit, of the great ocean that was so very ill, cried out in pain, but the people couldn't hear it, and she continues to cry out still. Blue orb. Blue orb, let me give you a hug. My arms are only long enough to stretch around a tree, my lips just wide enough to pour my soul into another human being, my eyes so small and bright, two shiny pebbles in the sea, my depths so very shallow compared to your majesty. I am a tiny seed, a foppish flowering weed. I am but a puzzle piece of your grand mystery. Blue orb, let me smooth the rough spots that give you pain. Help me to caress and encourage your wild mane. I want to be like the rising sun that blinds the world with its light. I want to be the voice of reason that guides us through the night. Help me to be strong. Help me to burn bright. It is you who give us life, blue orb. It is for you I fight. And my last poem for this evening is called To Every Human Being. Open your eyes. Yes, just like that. The soft petals of your eyelids are opening slowly to take in the light. I love you. The water coursing through your veins, the blood pumping to your heart, your chapped lips gulping air into your lungs. You blink quickly, delicate as a moth wing, opening and closing. I love you. The hair on your arms and legs, a miniature forest of humanity. The hairlessness of your arms and legs, a stone smooth as sea glass in the river. The beating of your heart is the most sacred music. The way you move or don't move is beautiful. I love you. Feel the heartbeat of the earth by lying flat against the ground. Smell the dirt, feel the wind, let the sun warm your soul. Try your best to accept the things you cannot control and fight with all your being for everything else. The earth will love you for it. Show it you adore it. Kiss the ground. Thank you very much.
Oh, folks, unmute and give Cassandra a round of applause. Thank you so much.
Woo!
Oh!
Woo!
Very good. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Cassandra. Now, please welcome. We have Kekelene Ward tonight. And
hi, everyone. Can everybody hear me?
yes, we can hear you.
All right, just everybody give me a quick second, please. So I wanted to put my hair up, and I know it doesn't look the best, but it's because I hide behind my hair and I tend to hide a lot from people. And so by doing this, this is just me opening up to everybody about my intersectionality, about who I am, and allowing others to see my eyes. So I'm gonna start with an eco poem called Prison Planet. Stars wrap this planet and warp at us rhyming schemes in a sonnet. The silence plays like a clarinet in this universe of euphemism to hide this growing disconnect and dissent and this feeling of relent. I always ask the stars where you went. It's a bit tells me our love is tainted, the love between us and the sun, the appreciation for the universe and her gift. It is the gift of perspective that gives way to the glass shards of introspective. Rainbows reflective off this glass surface entice me, you, and them. It's the creation of art sewn into introspective like him. Okay, thank you. And then this next piece is it's more on intersectionality, and I'm gonna be reading an excerpt from my book I'm writing called In the Eyes of a Ghetto Child Like Me. And this chapter is called Land of Milk and Honey. Read this, a man waiting in line to enter the homeless shelter center. It was a warm day in San Francisco with air as thick as quilts sewn in with portraits of different perspectives of life. My dad always made me go with my Aunt Monique. Today, my aunt wanted to reach the homeless. The books given to me to read were pretty easy children's books that I could speed read. Yet there was a shelter with a long line trailing around the corner of the street. Even though I was reading children's books, I wasn't even thinking about what the story would be about. I came across a man standing in line for the shelter. He was tall with smooth dark skin, his eyes softened with the desensitized pain. This man had already seen the world that wrapped around him and smuggled him in a whisk of white shadows that couldn't take him. "Excuse me, could I read this book to you?" I asked the man who carried the world's knowledge on his back and in his skin. "Sure," he responded with a polite smile. I read through the children's book pretty fast, and I was ready to move on to the next person. Just as I closed the thin book in my hand, the man asks me, "Now can I ask you to read this for me?" "Okay," I say as he flips through a faded blue hardcovered book with a black spine looking for the right passage to give to me. He flips the book and points to the middle of a page. "Read this." I skimmed the pages, but my mind lingered on to the words, clinging on to each word in search of something more like a shepherd and his sheep. The words knit blankets that opened up skies of knowledge with complex simplicity. Complex simplicity. We know murdering is wrong, yet we excuse certain parts of society for it because our minds linger on to the possibilities that can happen and skim over the many, many stories. "Okay, you're a very good reader. You can stop right there. What did you read about?" the tall man asks me. I felt as though I hadn't understood a word I read, but I subconsciously responded. It was about a woman yelling at cops for mistreating others." I answered, "Do you think her response was appropriate?" The man continued to pursue me with this question. I responded with a newfound interest and confidence in my eyes. "Yes, I do." Continuing with his conversations, the man asks, "Do you know what oppression is?" I had never heard of that word in my life, but based on how it was used in the book, I took a guess. "Is it to hold something down?" "Yes," the man said, chuckling while rubbing his beard. "Exactly. It's like holding someone down." "Do you know what the Black Panther Party is?" "No, but I've heard of it before. My friends and I played volleyball and wanted to name our team the Black Panthers, but our teacher said no because it was a political party." I answered. With curiosity, the man questions, "Why did you name the volleyball team the Black Panthers?" "Because we thought it sounded cool." Both of us start laughing, connecting over a short passage of words. When the old man gave me the passage, it was as if he was passing me the knowledge that laid on his back. Both of us connected by curiosity. "Do you know why the Black Panthers named themselves the Black Panthers?" It was because they also thought it sounded cool. The laughing continued like needle and thread, sewing our experiences of life into the spine of a novel. "What's your name?" I finally asked the question. "My name is Greg. What's your name?" Greg in turn questions me. Greg would forever be etched into my memory. "I'm Rhonda." "Rhonda! Rhonda, we gotta go," my aunt called for me, yet for a second, I felt I was on a grassland, a blue skies that questioned the stars, yards of green grass that stretched its fingertips to the sky. A black boy stood in the warm grassland questioning the sun. As the boy reaches the sun, he doesn't have to carry the weight of knowledge on his back, so he plants a fruitful tree. With softened eyes, he leaves me and turns his back, waiting in line for the shelter. I turn my back, continuing our separate lives. Does such a place exist? A place of milk and honey? Does the milk flow off mountains like the long braids off the backs of the indigenous? Does the honey taste of sweet melancholy sung by sunken eyes, carried by the scars on their backs and passed down to the minds of their children? If such a place exists, who is the Messiah? And that was my piece, Land of Milk and Honey. And then this other piece that I'm going to be reading is I dedicated this to somebody who I knew was sick. And so I wrote this for them. And I titled this, "In the Name of I Am Ashe, Ashe." Dear ancestors, I cut my hair. I watched each lock and curl fall to the floor. Cutting my hair seemed at the time like I was cutting away my problems. It also felt like I cut away my ancestors. I cut away my unknown home, a home of trees and cities of my people, burning towns and unpaid debts. My grandma dug through maps and slave records in order to find her home. What if I have so many cousins, aunts, and uncles that I will never be able to find or meet? Where am I from below the equator? What is my homeland like? Does it have many trees? Does the sun open up everyone's energy like a bright beaming window? What type of foods do my people like? What type of foods do my people make? What beads, braids, twists, bantu knots, and beautiful ribbons did we place on our heads? What silks and satins did we wear? What is the wind like? Why don't I know where my ancestors are from? Why don't I know where my ancestors are from? What did my people believe in? Do runaway slaves actually go to hell? What happens after we? I imagine a field of yellow flowers where the sky opens you up like many doors. Where these yellow flowers bloom, my sins are covered in a white dress and the freedom that surrounds me. Did my people have an unpaid karmic debt that was owed? Is there a price that I have to pay for my freedom? The sky speaks to me in many different tongues. Oh, the language of freedom. Do I owe the sky a loving song? Do I owe the flowers a somber dance and my creator an epiphany? As seasons change and flowers blossom, hold me tight. Hold me tight as I dance into the wind with my ancestors. I have gone away to come back as I intermingle with familiar shadows and fall in love with dusk. I am no longer the forgotten. I am no longer left to die in the streets of forgotten names and children that I will never meet. I sold my soul for bread and chicken in this lifetime. Ancestors, will you forgive me? Will you still come back for me and bring me home? I wish to taste flowers and smell rain. I wish to be replenished because I am born wilted and labeled wicked by this world. Take me, for I don't wish to be here anymore, ancestors. As I dance away with the wind and offer myself to the sun, where these flowers bloom, I will become one. I will come back with the howling moon, and you will hear my sweet languages along the tongues of the silver linings in the sky. I will come back with the breaths of hurling water and storms in my lungs. My hair comes back like gardens of bushes and trees abundant in life, as I leave bread and water for my ancestors near my window. One day I shall too come back as the energy to create. I leave my heart in flowers and my soul in weeds. Dear ancestors, will you teach me how to apply your wisdom and guidance into my daily life? One day, I swear, one day, I will use the stars to guide me and I will guide you home. In the name of I am Ashe, Ashe, Ashe. Thank you.
You have more time, Keiki, if you would like to continue.
I was going to request mirroring C from you. Keiko.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Sorry. Okay. I'm so sorry about that, everyone. Mirroring sea. Please don't forget us as the tides rise over our islands and wipe away our emotions and drown our throats. Please don't forget us. My ancestors speak in their native language that sounds like water, and their sandy voices that engrave themselves into the sand and build the foundation for this land. Don't forget us as the stars slowly start to disappear, leaving us lost at sea looking for our home. In the sky, our ancestors spoke to the land and to us people, and we became one, learning our cultures and trying to navigate through this world that we never even imagined. through unfound guidance and unpaved roads. I try to speak to my people with a broken language. I thought I knew her as she found her way through my hair, braiding it and untangling the different parts of me, my different parts of my intersectionality, who I try to be through the spirits of my ancestors as they guide me and walk me towards where I'm free, with glass houses built on shattered grounds. They label me wicked, as though I built my house on sand and not the solid rock that I am. So I am lost at sea on an unknown island, and I'm looking for my home. My ancestors spoke to the sky, and like a refreshing window for the soul, the stars would open up to us like the eyes of our own spirituality. Yet the ocean spoke to us in a surrounding crowd of whispers and danced around as many different truths that we had to face, a true reflection of ourselves that we are blind to. As the water rises and hides my tears, drowning my overlooked throat, I pray that the stars may reach out to me and guide me home. I pray that my ancestors can teach me. I pray that my lost language will find me and soften my tongue, bearing the language of not only freedom, but also the sweet, sappy food of knowledge. I pray that I will still be able to go home. The ocean that brought us here wishes to take us back now. Slowly, the ocean takes her hand over my people and pulls us back, taking what is hers, the blurring reflection of us all that we took too much and now the ocean wishes to take back. The ocean isn't just a reflection of ourselves, but rather the confrontation of human limits and certain moral greed. She holds us close and the ocean kisses our foreheads as she carries our ancestors away and our home day by day. The stars comfort us and the moon carries us into another lifetime, this time where the ocean speaks to us in the voices of our people and allows us to stay. Come back for me as the stars and the moon. I wish for my home to come back to me, and I pray that the ocean may allow us a chance to understand her and ourselves. Thank you.
Oh my goodness. Thank you so much. 100%. Folks, please unmute your mics and give Kekelene Ward a round of applause.
Woohoo! Great job.
Great work. Oh my. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. And now please welcome our third guest for this evening, Aileen Cassinetto.
Thank you, Rob. Thank you, Poetry Center San Jose and Works for hosting us. Cassandra and Kekelene, I'm very, very honored to have read with you tonight and to have shared this journey with you as poets. You are just two of the most wonderful, amazing, and gifted individuals that I've come to know. And I just wanted to thank you both for being, for sharing your work with me and trusting me with your poetry. I think I'm going to be sharing a short film, but before that, I'd like to read two poems. The first one is on identity. I am Villanelle. I'm from Balikbayan boxes, veiled markers of identity. I'm from sunken galleons, misspent fragment of empires. I'm from hand-knotted piña fibers, a cultivar of possibilities. I'm from blue and white pottery, ghostly and full of stories. I'm from unglazed earthenware, seasoned with intent and fire. I'm from Balikbayan boxes, movement of tenacity. I'm from the heartwood of wounded lion aloes, an unfortunate luxury. I'm from glory of the sea cone, prized for its venom and spire. I'm from ocean crossings, an arbitrary and seaworthy possibility. I'm from repeated prayers and offerings, A Hail Mary Pass, and 9 Days to Mercy. I'm from Doomed Love Stories and Ghosts with a Grievance, Manifesting Ire and Satire. I'm from a precarious bloodline, a Balikbayan genealogy. I'm from the mother of all fiestas, sanguinary and exhibiting miraculously. I'm from broken rosaries, indulgence for blessed and blotted modifiers. I'm from possibilities in a family tree that doesn't end with me. I'm from buried treaties north of an archipelago, debris of synchronicity. I'm from a chronology of losses and one wedded and wilder soothsayer. I'm from Balikbayan boxes, veiled markers of identity. I am foreshadowed in good faith, a possibility, empire of sundries. My next poem, titled Migration, was commissioned by the Metro Film and Arts Foundation for their Breaking Down Walls project. We had a live performance last weekend, which also featured Kim Shuk, Ma Xing-Win, Terida Mikel, and many more, including Post Ballet. The concert will be streamed online on June 26th, Sunday at 4:30 p.m. A documentary chronicling the making of Breaking Down Walls will be released in 2023. All proceeds will benefit the House of Ukraine. Please visit metrofilmandarts.org for more information. Migration. Save me a fish scale, hard tissue and enamel, true cartographer. Teach me how to unchart this body of salt water. Let me start over. Between us is only skin and no other border. Only salt and the still bone matter. There are no monsters save the ones we've slain when we were younger. O ocean, O forebear, remember our blood and scar, the ashes of our father, what we buried, what we scattered at the edge of our future. Wind and current be witness, be sister, augured and mothered as we inch closer. Start over as we break these barriers. Start with fish scales and a fistful of ash. O ancestor, O voyager, here is a prayer. All my life, I've been moving ever closer to the sea, but the maps were wrong and nothing was where I thought it would be. I need no chart this time. Beneath me are lumber worth 2,000 teaks, a cargo of porcelain and silk, sunk to lay claim to land and tide water. These were the monsters you've slain when you were younger. Winged feet swim to the surface with feeding hatchet fish, with my breastbone, my backbone, my hearthstone. Salt and bone, I am ocean and uncharted. I remember everything that was buried and scattered, augur and future. Be witness, be braver after I break these barriers. Save me a fish scale, slayer of monsters. On my life, I am inching closer to the surface. Winged feet and blister. Beneath me are fleets sunken and surrendered. O forebear, O explorer. The largest migration happens every day from deep ocean layers. I too have learned to shift currents. My edge and center, here is a prayer. Remember who you are, spine and shimmer, mover of water. Thank you so much. I would now like to share a short film.
In Baker's Beach, love at the end of everything. It is May again, and everything becomes a new type of tender. We are teetering at the edge of summer, our youth's golden and our skins raw like mango flesh. I watched you stare intensely into the coral blue of the ocean, feet planted into soft bodies of sand, rolling over. You tell me that the world is ending. Corals left too white and boneless by climate change, glaciers melting like candle wax into the fade of every winter horizon. Still yet, nothing here has changed. Above us, looper moths circle the sky, spiraling in perfect halos. They falter under the moonlight, wings flinting between aluminum and copper gold. A plover lands on the neck of a tree, and the branch buckles under its weight. For miles around us, there is nothing but sage bushes and memories left by half-moon lovers. Eternal summers with infinities so large, not even we can find them. Maybe we are searching for something to name ourselves to. Maybe we believe that if we wait long enough, an answer will appear, washing up softly with the waves. Maybe the reason I look at you now is because I half expect to find that answer, or some version of it at least. You laughed, and your laughter quivers in the air like echolocation. It transforms into something sweet, taking flight in the shape of an angel-winged terp. I consider catching it for a moment, to cup it gently in the crease of my hands like I do with all things I am too afraid to lose. Instead, it slips away and withers off with the sound of trembling cicadas before any moment can reach it. If we stay here too long, we will erode with the mountains, become nothing but the fossils we find, old and bruising, forever left to tarnish in some forgotten history.
It does not matter any longer where you live. From news reports on the fires in California and the floods in Vietnam. 1. They waited for the answers they didn't want to hear but knew were reality. From my living room, I watch as tiny yellow men march into the worst darkness and pretend not to hear when they have names. Witness an unprecedented use of the word unprecedented. The state of California has swallowed Connecticut like fever, leaving behind a scorched footprint the shape of neglect. There are streetlights in the forest now. The forest is a city with wildfire for veins and a steady churn of smog. Vehicles spill onto highways to escape the color of death, but even the lucky ones wake up to smudged sun and sepia. Classic Western. Villainize nature, defend your honor, reduce the brown people to accessory. This is the work of a century's suppression, of a creature that feeds on its own dead. When there's nothing left to breathe, you produce the opposite of oxygen. Don't need a crystal ball. Return the trees to their cradles. Burn the land clean of history. Seethe warning, blaze insurrection. Do not slow, do not slow. Let them see the inferno they created. 2. Local residents now live in a way that is prepared for natural disaster. In the country my mother loves, in its naked heart, coastlines unravel into starving hands, drawing anything with mass into wet embrace. Include the slippers, whose tattered pockets kept our feet from catching wind, and the plastic collected to prove we exist. Include the caution tape, the bamboo, the dining tables, the books, the altars, the rice, the fields they grow in, the aoyai, the photos, and the children who have now found mothers in this soft earth. They say it sounds like a bomb, when the mountain that is not actually a mountain explodes, and it weeps burials for the willowed bodies who watch water rise to fool their conscience, who recite Buddha's name until synonymous with mosquito hum, who hold real hands in the dark of electricity while millions of hummingbirds crash into sheet metal roof and herds of baby elephants swarm at the ankles, which, of course, the meteorologists will call rainfall and the parents will call temporary, will call home. 3. Their only desire was to be together in the home they loved. The structures are empty now, either because the people fled or endured baptism by flame flood. An elderly couple is found in the charcoal of their farm, a boy, recognized under comic shop sludge. The men on the news say climate change is a hoax. I talk back, hold the objects they inhabit, break them.
The screaming of birds in the morning used to be songs. I wake up and the sunlight through the window is hazy. There is news playing on the television downstairs as nations begin to fall into chaos. As the planet heats up, so does the ocean. As coral reefs absorb the carbon dioxide from the air that we have polluted for our own greed, our own wrongdoings, they are blanched white and the ocean begins to die. Fish and other sea life are netted by the millions by fishers. With the passing of each minute, extinction unfolds globally. Well, the sun begins to fall over the edge of the horizon, you see. So we chase it. We chase it all the way to the edge until the sun has fallen and the stars have fallen too. When we sink into the ocean, we will find nothing but the bloated bodies of fish. When we try to find our way through the land, we will find nothing but impossible drought and wildfires. And Earth begins to split at the seams. Blue skies. The sun rises from the horizon, peeking from the fine line separating land and sky. Mountains surround me, wrapping its luscious green arms in an embrace that fills my ears. It fills my ears with the wind's whistles, the flowers' giggles, the trees' whispers. All around me, I feel the earth's unwavering intricacies, each little detail a building block, forming every rock and lock. The way every atom and element structure creates a balance that dictates life on Earth, or how the exact distance and tilt of our planet gives her the talent of birthing life. Even through strife, she protects us. She shields us from the unknowns of the universe. Isn't she magnificent? But if our planet is so special, why do we treat her as if she is not essential? We pollute her air, destroying natural habitats without repair, unprepared to face the consequences of our own wrongdoing. Too many times humans have taken advantage of our planet, not realizing that by killing off Earth's beauty, eventually we will kill off ourselves. Earth is our home, a small fraction of worlds protecting us from the unknown, all alone in a universe we barely know. Our planet has grown and raised us. Now it's our turn to fix our wrongs and grow and raise her.
Identify as she or her, they, them, and I am a poet, a musician, and I like to express myself in any way possible.
My name is Angela Chen. My pronouns are she, her, and I really love creating.
Hi, my name is Eva Chen. My pronouns are any pronouns. And outside of writing poetry, I like listening to old school hip hop and learning about philosophy.
Hi, I'm Lauren Lynn. Pronouns are she, her. And I love writing, like reading, and also playing piano.
I'm Cassandra Busquet. My pronouns are she, her. I also love reading and writing, and also spending time on Sanford in the Mountain.
My name is Kekelene Ward. I love just learning about my surroundings and just connecting with the people around me. I'm a poet and I also am a musician.
My name is Julian Malari. My pronouns are she, her. I love expressing myself through poetry, writing, and music, and I love being around nature.
Hello, my name is Iris, and my pronouns are she, her. I am a poet and a violinist.
Hi, my name is Chloe Chou, and my pronouns are she, her. Outside of poetry, I enjoy making mixtapes and computer science.
I write poetry because it is a language to me. It is my love language. It's the way I use to convey how I feel to people and, bring them into a little bit of the world, the way I perceive the world.
Yeah, I think poetry is definitely, like a lot of other art forms, it's like an expression of the soul. And so it's a good way for me to try to understand myself and understand the world. I think sort of reflect on everything.
For me, it's like a way of remembering what I felt, and like it's a way to know myself more. And like you said, it's like where you get to express who you are and everything.
For me, it's like a form of clarity, because when I write poetry, it allows me to see my experience and validate it, not just as from a person in the present looking back at the past, but a person who's now looking at it and expressing it as if it's happening in real time.
I definitely agree with you. I think with poetry, it's like, it's such a unique perspective in life when you're a poet, because it's like you can visually see words around you, words on walls, words in the sky, words in power lines. And I just think that it's like, it's just such an overwhelmingly great experience when you can just sit there and you just boom, like you can just allow other people to picture the words around you as well.
Yeah.
For me, I write poetry because I'm able to express myself through words that I can tell to the public and imagery instead of me visually or verbally saying it.
Yeah, along with self-expression, I think poetry is very universal. It's a way that you can connect with the people around you and the communities around you.
Yeah, I agree with all of you. Like, poetry really does help you express yourself, but it also gives society kind of an in-look as to what you believe and your perspective on the world around you.
Breathe. There is a pattern we burn into the night sky.
And it will not be of chemical, but compassion for all that is light.
Last year, I woke up and the sky was tangerine, sick with smoke. Because we live in a world where things are valued more dead than alive, and where we value today so much, we don't even think about tomorrow.
But in less than 12 years, we'll be running out of tomorrow. So tell me, how do we redefine value? Humans are warming the planet.
Smoke days replace our parents' snow days. Being told that children are the future, uncertain if we have one in store. Look around you. Breathe if you can. It's code red for humanity.
Hazy skylines, the redness of the map. Plumes of black smoke billowing, mixing with lavender clouds and orange flame. Yellowed lawns in my neighborhood.
The taste of burnt toast in my mouth. Part of my community lost. As decades of damage, destruction, and hate come down like a meteor that never saw space. We must be united to fight it.
We must all take accountability. Reduce CO2 and methane emissions to zero. We have caused this. We are the only ones who can fix this. We can have a sustainable future.
Sitting in my bedroom, staring at the screen, wondering if this is always what I'll see. Longing for action, longing for change.
Saving the world from climate change.
Right now, I'm learning, struggling, and exploring, and I want to make a difference, to know I'm safe. I want to live in a world with no pollution, with rainbows in the skies.
Thank you, Eileen. Folks, unmute and give a warm round of applause to Eileen and Cassandra and Keiki Leni.
Thank you, Eileen.
100%.
I really enjoyed that, Eileen. You were wonderful.
Congratulations.
That is so great. We have an open mic this evening, but if folks have a question that they would like to pose to our readers tonight, Cassandra, Keiki Leni, and Eileen, go ahead and put it in the chat, and we'll bring it to them. If you want to read for the open mic, go ahead and put your name in the chat. We have on deck Tony Press, Dee Allen, and Mary Marcia Casoli. So thank you so much. Oh my goodness. And so in creating the video, what inspired you to use the music box with the pins as a part of the motif in the video, in the movie, Eileen?
Sorry, Rob.
What inspired you to use the music box pin?
I just wanted a contrast between the ugliness of the world around us, and also because, I don't know, music boxes evoke a certain innocence. It brings back childhood and everything that seemed simpler and more innocent. So I wanted to have that contrast. And it actually, this is one of the, we've had many versions of this poetry adaptation, and this was the most recent. And I really like it because it included the voices of many of the young poets who have been part of my eco-poetry and speak poetry projects.
Yeah, great. And this question to Cassandra and Keiki Leni, and I'm going to spotlight you. So here we go, not to be surprised, okay? And what has it meant to the two of you to have a community of poets for your art and just your soul? And how might you communicate that to other young leaders?
I can go. I only discovered like this community of poets very recently, so it's very new for me, but it's very inspiring to me, especially that day you saw when we went to the studio and I got to meet Keiki Leni and all those other poets. We didn't know each other before, but it was like we had sort of a bond from the beginning because we all kind of understand the importance of translating our soul into words. And so it's a great feeling, but it's very new. Before I was just, writing poetry by myself in my room on the mountain, it's sort of lonely, but now it's like we can all share together, and that's really powerful.
Yes, thank you, Cassandra. Keiki Leni, I see you're nodding. You're in agreement with what Cassandra's saying. Go ahead, unmute yourself. Something is going on with the audio. Try again.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, great.
Okay, I'm sorry about that.
No worries.
I just want to say I definitely agree with what Cassandra had to say. Like, just reading her and also reading other poets as well at the video shoot was just an amazing experience. I think it's great to like have a community of poets, because not only does it feel like you have other people there, well, I mean, yeah, you have other people there around you, but it's that like you guys can all bond just over something that's so intimate and so specific to only yourself, because only you truly know how your soul feels. And yeah.
So cool.
And
Yes.
Bob, if I may add something.
Go
So
ahead.
it may not seem like it, but these young people are some of the best listeners that I've met. They actually help me see what's possible. And they just have the most hopeful messages, and they can write some of the most powerful poems. And certainly they are some of our most effective poetry and social justice ambassadors. And I just wanted to support their agency and to keep encouraging them to never, ever forget their dreams.
Yes. Yes. Agreed. And do you have announcements for us about upcoming events or projects that you want us to know about?
No.
Not yet.
Not just the online stream of Breaking Down Walls on June 26th.
Cool. Thank you so much. Thank you. Excellent. And folks, if you want to have your question answered, put it in the chat and we'll bring it up again. And now for the open mic portion of the reading. And remember, if you'd be so kind to fill out the survey, and I will post it back again in the chat. But now, please welcome to the mic, Tony Press. Is Tony Press still in the house? There you are, Tony. Come on down.
Thank you, Robert and all. I will remember this evening for a long, long time. Thank you to the featured poets. Very short one here. Equinox and solstice. Past, waking up once more, the painful task of dropping yesterday's myth. Present, it is how you are looking that determines what you see. Pay attention. Future, look not for the time, it is only imagined. Be the moment. Solstice, this is where we are, the middle between extremes. Arise and embrace. Thank you.
Thank you so much. All right, Tony. Now, please welcome. Well, first we have on deck Mary Marcia Casoli, and now to the mic, please welcome Dee Allen. Is Dee Allen in the house? Oh, there you are. I see you.
I'm only going to be doing 2 poems this evening. And to assist me in that endeavor, I'm going to use the share screen feature. Being Black shouldn't be a death sentence. Rusty Gallows. Reddish brown corrosion covers the whole goddamn structure like a filthy blanket. With so much widespread decay, this old tarnished bridge should have collapsed from crashing waters many floods ago. By some fluke of nature, unscathed by time, it still stands above the muddy Chickasaw River in Shabuta, Mississippi. Once a passageway to a long-forgotten Clark County destination, twice an implement of execution like an iron crucifix. This is you, skull and crossbones, etched on the bridge's base, cryptic warning meant for anyone unlucky enough to cross it, and the invisible line away from their place. Between both world wars, unspecified parties. Now, let's rephrase that. Haters strung up faux boys, 2 girls, both pregnant, young, Negro, and guilty of nothing, hung from knotted ropes, tied to rusty girders over the coursing river like 6 black flags, sailing in the gentle southern wind. And that first poem was the title poem of my new and sixth book, Rusty Gallows, Passages Against Hate. And that title poem is inspired by the nonfiction book, Hanging Bridge, by Jason Morgan Ward, from pages 27 and 29 in the book. And the last one is mercifully short, one page, and it's deeply personal. This one is from page 45 of Rusty Gallows. This is called Fragment 2019. Before I go into it, can you hear me okay? Give me a thumbs up or press the reactions button for thumbs up. Cool. Fragment 2019. I'm not a religious man, not even a little. The Bible of Christian love teaches hatred and violence. The very thought of walking into a church and facing all those sharp-dressed hypocrites makes my stomach do somersaults. And prayers from the heart often go unanswered. Strangely enough, what prayer waits on my tongue? It won't be a prayer wasted on an absentee deity. It will instead be an appeal to fellow human beings. And here's how I'll release it. Judge me not for my looks, but for my deeds. The color I have is no crime. And that last poem was called Fragment 2019. And both pieces tonight come from my new and sixth book, Rusty Gallows, now available from Vagabond Books. From this mic to your ears, I'm D. Allen. Thanks for listening. Happy Juneteenth in advance.
Happy Juneteenth, yes, indeed. And thank you, D. Allen. Please put how we can get the book in the chat. And
I plan to do that anyway. Thank you.
Thank you. And that's a good opportunity to remind folks to copy, save your chat, 3 dots in the upper right corner of the chat box to save all the information, including ordering information for books. Thank you again. Now on deck, Larry Hollis, and please now welcome to the mic, Mary Marcia Casoli. Mary, come on down.
Thank you. It is really a great reading. I enjoyed everybody that read. Now, here's my poem. It's called Ophidian Chakra. I swear henceforth to disregard poison. I swear not to mind the obvious slack. I swear I'd rather be a rubber hose in the garden, rooting in the sun. Victory loved its own skin, but I shed mine. What's more, I celebrate the shedding. My fate keeps me close to the ground. It breathes of my ever watchful enemies and friends. I stroke our shared earth on my belly. Even you, when your first tear spilled from your cheek, I was there, and it quenched my thirst. See how the breeze loosens leaves from the trees above us. You can't imagine how proudly I climb limbs, pull myself towards the sky. I have other aspirations. I swear I can fast as many days as need be before I eat. I dream of impending spirits. A forked tongue can wrap itself around any language. So you'll change your spots too, and come to wear a silken suffering or burlap joy. So what if every door doesn't lock you in or out? So what if you milk laughter more than formula? There's no true catch, I swear. There is always a recourse. Shed it like a feather, for better. Flake off your fears, all the layers of a croissant. We are nearing the crossroads now. I appreciate the shrine you've built, what you've buried beneath the school. My gift for you is be comfortable with your skin. With 19,000 children and as many teachers going on with their lives, or let 2 teachers and 19 children die. This is my tooth, Buddha's tooth. Swallow it. You'd be surprised what you can swallow.
Wow. Thank you, Mary Marcia. Thank you for that poem. Wow. Now, please, we have Alice de Barres on deck and Larry Hollis at the mic. Please welcome to the mic, Larry Hollis.
Yay. Hi, Larry.
Hi, everyone. Such powerful reading. Someday I wish to be good as poet as those who read tonight. And I'm afraid I'm not as serious either as they are. I recently read, I'm going to go off screen because I'm at work and I have to switch things on my phone. But in the May Poetry Magazine, there was an article. It was recently translated from a 1900s article, originally written in Japanese, and then titled Haiku on Shit. And so he got me thinking, got me reading. I'm going to read 2 by 2 old masters. I'm going to read 2 of mine. So the first one's by Busan. Fallen red blossom appears to be ablaze on clumps of horse shit. Fallen red plum blossoms appear to be ablaze on clumps of horse shit. And this is from Shozan. I noticed a release an easy fart, staying indoors this winter. I noticed a release an easy fart, staying indoors this winter. And these next 2 are mine. I'm going to actually do 3. This is from a text my sister sent me about her youngest child climbing trees. I just put what she said into haiku. Our youngest climbs trees. More than falling, we worry she might poop on us. Our youngest climbed trees. More than falling, we worry she might poop on us. When wild cherries are ripe, don't hang your clothes out to dry. Birds poop red dye. When wild cherries are ripe, don't hang your clothes out to dry. Birds poop red dye. And the last one. A mob of crows wait for cars to leave the car wash. Fresh targets to bomb. A mob of crows wait for cars to leave the car wash. A fresh target to bomb. Thank you.
Oh, thank you so much, Larry. Thank you for joining us tonight. Great work. And now we have Vicky Harvey, who will bring us home on this strawberry moon night. But now please welcome to the mic, Alice de Pares.
Hi, everyone. It's nice to see you guys after 3 years. I haven't seen Rob or Larry, Joe, or Eileen. I think I'm missing somebody. But anyway, I haven't seen you guys since 2019 because I haven't attended any Zoom. So first of all, I want to say that it's nice to see you guys after all this time, at least on video. And Eileen, I just want to say how marvelous not only your poetry was, but how moving the video was. And I want to congratulate all these young poets who are our next generation. And it just made me really happy to hear you guys. So anyway, as you guys, as all of you know who know me, I write my poetry in Spanish. It just doesn't come out in English. Like I don't know, it won't come out. So, but I translate it for those of you. I think Eileen might know a little bit of Spanish. I usually ask people in the audience to raise their hands. So if anybody can like raise a little hand or put it in the chat. Who speaks Spanish? Maybe Eileen a little bit and possibly Rob, but I don't want to make assumptions. So I am going to read my piece. It's called En Defensa de Nuestro Coraje, and I will read it in Spanish. It's a shorter piece, so I'll read both to keep it nice and brief. And I don't have a tablet or anything because I write it like I handwrite them. So anyway, it's fairly new. En defensa de nuestro coraje. En defensa de nuestro coraje, hay niños con ojos vacíos, enjaulados, sin el calor de un abrazo, sin cuidados médicos, muriendo, cubiertos de mugre, en pañales sucios. Los pediatras solo pueden ver sus cadáveres, niños maya que ni siquiera hablan español. En defensa de nuestro coraje, dos jóvenes enamorados, llenos de anhelo e ilusiones, murieron en una torrente de balas. Cubriendo como manta a su hijo de meses, y el monstruo anaranjado que causó la tragedia cargó a este niño con una sonrisa diabólica, sociópata. En defensa de nuestro coraje, días después del masacre en El Paso, la migra hizo la redada más grande en la historia de Estados Unidos. 600 y pico. Legales y ilegales fueron atrapados por la Gestapo. En defensa de nuestro coraje, hubo un grupo de protestantes y aliados judíos que fueron atropellados por una camioneta cargada de odio. Cuidado, la historia se repite, nos dicen. El holocausto latino es inminente. En defensa de nuestro coraje, hay madres que lloran ríos de lágrimas cuando les arrancan sus hijos de los brazos. Que se quedan como la Virgen dolorosa, como almas en pena, soñando pesadillas, viviendo pesadillas, un sufrimiento infernal. En defensa de nuestro coraje, ¿saben qué? No necesitamos defensa. So that's the Spanish. And now let me try and find the English version. Here we are. In defense of our anger. In defense of our anger, there are children with vacant eyes, caged, without the warmth of an embrace, without medical care, dying, covered in grime, in dirty diapers. Pediatricians can only see their cadavers. Mayan children who can't even speak Spanish. In defense of our anger, two young lovers filled with hope and dreams died in a torrent of bullets, covering their baby with their bodies like a mantle. And the orange monster that caused the tragedy later carried the baby with a diabolical, sociopathic smile. In defense of our anger, days after the massacre in El Paso, ICE conducted the largest raid in United States history. 600 plus legal and illegal residents were trapped by the Gestapo. In defense of our anger, there was a large group of Jewish protesters and allies who were run over by a truck carrying hatred. Be careful, they tell us. History repeats itself. The Latin American Holocaust is imminent. In defense of our anger, there are mothers that cry rivers of blood when they tear their children from their arms. And they remain like the Virgen Dolorosa, like souls in purgatory, dreaming nightmares, living nightmares, and infernal suffering. In defense of our anger, you know what? We don't need a defense. Thank you.
Thank you, Alice. Thank you for sharing that poem. And thank you for bringing the Spanish to the audience.
Well, I always do. Unless you guys don't want to hear the poems, I refuse to read them just in English. So
now, to bring us home tonight, please welcome to the mic Vicki Harvey.
Hey, what a wonderful, wait, okay, I'm unmuted. What a wonderful evening. Eileen, the videos and all the young people. I'm just so filled up by such wonderful poetry. So I thought, well, I better read. I better give back. So I'm going to read a piece. It's called "You're at the Kitchen Table." You're at the kitchen table. A smile comes over my face as the perfume from the jasmine flowers drips through the window. I sit at my kitchen table with coffee in hand, breath soft and easy, feeling the peace of the morning, wishing I could remain here for eternity. The jacaranda tree has dropped purple flowers, creating a breathtaking carpet beneath. Not a cloud in the sky. The concrete has a fever of 120 degrees. The bug burns its little feet on its way to find shade in the green, moist grass. I was born to observe all of the broken ways of the world. Liquid fire is no place for a fish in need of a different home. Self will sail in the heavens. Thank you. Thank you, Rob. Thank you, Eileen, for a wonderful evening.
Everyone, unmute your mics and give another round of applause. Thank you, Vicki Harvey, for
thank you,
sending us
Vicki.
home
Thank
tonight
you.
for the
Thank you,
moon.
everyone.
So much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And all of you, thank you to our guests, Cassandra Bousquet and also Kekelene Ward and Eileen Cassinetto. Another round of applause.
Yay.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And gives us hope for this next generation coming into their own. Really fantastic vision. And thank you for bringing this, Eileen, to our attention. And we have this on YouTube. You have the link in the chat to view again, and also information for upcoming events. Thank you so much to Works San Jose, Joe Miller. All right, yes. And we're looking forward to the opening of Works San Jose Art and Performance Center at their new location in August. And we look forward to seeing y'all again next month, and also for our upcoming events, Beautiful Black Books, Third Thursdays, and Poetry Exchange, among others. And go easy if you can this summer. Thank you to our open mic readers, Tony, Mary, Marcia, Vicki, and also we had others who have left. Thanks again, folks, and wish you all a good night.